Hi, this is Emily Bowen-Moore. This is for Journalism 273 in the Meek School of Journalism and New Media at the University of Mississippi. And this tutorial is on the selection tools in InDesign. So if we look, our shortcut for our main selection tool here is V. And then we have what's called a direct selection tool, and its shortcut is A. And so I'm going to show you a couple of those capabilities here. Now your regular selection tool will allow us to select any object here, sometimes type, but for the most part you will see the bounding box, and that relates to our layers. In this case, our bounding box is blue, and your layers are set up in different colors. So if we have a second layer, if we start a new layer, the things in that layer are going to have a red bounding box, and so on. So you do have layers in your interface as well, and you can customize and decide what you want to put in what layer and organize that however you see fit, personalize it just for you. But if you usually the first layer is blue, so our bounding box here, and we can select multiple objects. If I wanted to select both of these boxes, I could either come off to the side and click and drag over both of them in my selection tool, and then I could move those together. And notice my cursor looks different when I'm moving these objects. It's just a triangle. If it has a bar on that, then I'm selecting with it. It's not moving. So if I click on this, I can also select multiple objects by holding down the Shift key. So if I select this object and hold down the Shift key and then go over and select that box, then it will continue to select whatever I click on. So you can select multiple objects that way as well. Okay. So your selection tool allows you those capabilities, and when you're in your selection tool you have these options up here. You can customize your different locations or different parts of the size here. If I wanted to adjust the width from up here, I could do that instead of pulling on the handlebars or these squares along the bounding box here. You can adjust the angles and so forth as well. You flip it horizontally. You have your scaling tools. You have your color and your fill. So if I wanted to fill this text box, I could with the background color, even though it's a text box. So you have those options when you are using your selection tool. And notice if I have both of these objects selected and I click on one of them, it creates a bolder outline. That allows me to use my alignment tool. So if I were wanting to make sure these two objects were perfectly aligned, I could make sure they were centered and click this button here, and it would allow them to be centered, and they already are. So let's try that again so you can see what I'm talking about. So I'm going to select them both, and then I want these to align to the one to the top. So I'm selecting the top box because that's what I want the bottom one to align to. And then if I click center, it will align horizontal that way. So that's a good tool to use in your selection tools when you're in your selection tool. So your direct select tool is going to allow us to modify more individually the corners or the sides or what have you. So let me move this. If I'm in my direct select tool, initially you'll see the handlebars are blue. If I click on those, it just basically moves that object. So the key to the direct select tool is clicking off the object, and then when we scroll back on it, you'll see some things change. If you notice, my handlebars are now hollow or white. This now allows me to work with that corner all by itself. Or notice if I scroll over the side instead of the corner, my cursor changes. I get a slash line. That allows me to move the whole side at whatever angle. So if I wanted to angle my text box against something, I could do that way using my direct select tool and creating more of an irregular shape with it. So your direct select tool allows you to work in a more customized way with your shapes and objects that you're creating, including text boxes. So these selection tools are very helpful in terms of allowing you to do things with whatever you're working with. All right, so good luck and thanks for listening.